Welcome to another edition of Channel 69 News. I'm your host, Carter Ash. On the panel today, we have Kelly Craft as always.
As always.
I know I always say this, but this week we really did have a busy week. A busy week of news.
We did?
Things coming in, things progressing, things developing, you know what I mean? And I had my thumb on the pulse.
You're the pulse of the news?
Kinda.
All right.
So, I had a bunch of stuff to say about Ukraine today, but then this happened. Let me just pull this up real quick. You ready?
I feel bad for these people.
This is, the headline says, heated exchange between U.S. State Department and media on evidence Russia fabricating attacks by Ukraine. Okay? Let's watch. Turn the sound on too.
We have previously noted our strong concerns regarding Russian disinformation and the likelihood that Moscow might seek to create, a false flag operation to initiate military activity. Now, we can say that the United States has information that Russia is planning to stage fabricated attacks by Ukrainian military or intelligence forces as a pretext for a further invasion of Ukraine. One possible option the Russians are considering, and which we made public today, involves the production of a propaganda video, a video with graphic scenes of false explosions depicting corpses, crisis actors pretending to be mourners, and images of destroyed locations or military equipment, entirely fabricated by Russian intelligence. To be clear, the production of this propaganda video is one of a number of options that the Russian government is developing as a fake pretext to initiate and potentially justify military aggression against Ukraine. We don't know if Russia will necessarily use this or another option in the coming days. We are publicizing it now, however, in order to lay bare the extent of Russia's destabilizing actions towards Ukraine and to dissuade Russia from continuing this dangerous campaign and ultimately launching a military attack. Russia has signaled it's willing to continue diplomatic talks as a means to de-escalate, but actions such as these suggest otherwise. We will continue to diligently work together with our allies and partners to expose Russian disinformation and other hybrid tactics used against Ukraine. We continue to work to prevent any effort Moscow might make to justify further military action in Ukraine. We again urge Russia to stop its destructive and destabilizing disinformation campaign, to de-escalate tensions, and to engage in diplomacy and dialogue for a peaceful solution. Thank you.
This is a reporter.
Okay, well, that's quite a mouthful there. So you said actions such as these suggest otherwise. Suggest meaning they suggest they're not interested in talks and they're going to go ahead with some kind of what action are you talking about?
One, the actions I've just pointed to. The fact that Russia continues to engage in disinformation campaigns.
You made an allegation that they might do that. Have they actually done it?
What we know, Matt, is what I have just said, that they have engaged in this activity, in this planning activity. But let me because obviously this is not the first time we've made these reports public. You'll remember that just a few weeks ago.
I'm sorry. Made what report public?
If you'll let me finish, I will tell you what report we made public. We told you a few weeks ago that we have information indicating Russia also has already prepositioned a group of operatives to conduct a false flag operation in eastern Ukraine. So that, Matt, to your question, is an action.
He sounds like Jen Psaki.
It's an action that you say that they have taken, but you have shown no evidence to confirm that. And I'm going to get to the next question here, which is, what is the evidence that they play? I mean, this is like crisis actors, really? This is like Alex Jones territory you're getting into now.
That's crazy.
What evidence do you have to support the idea that there is some propaganda film in the making?
Matt, this is derived from information known to the U.S. government, intelligence information that we have declassified. I think you know.
Okay, well, where is it? Where is this information?
It is intelligence information that we have declassified.
Well, where is it? Where's the declassified information?
I just delivered it.
No, you made a series of allegations and statements.
Would you like us to print out the topper? Because you will see a transcript of this briefing that you can print out for yourself.
Hold with us here.
Evidence, Ned. That's you saying it. That's not evidence. I'm sorry.
What would you like, Matt?
I would like to see some proof that you you can show that
Matt, you have been
that shows that the Russians are doing this. Ned, I've been doing this for a long time.
I know, that was my point.
You
have been doing this for quite a while. You know that when we declassify intelligence
That's
information,
right. And I
we do so in a means we do so with an eye to protecting sources and methods.
Is not going to fall. I remember a lot of things. So where is the declassified information?
So he just said, I remember WMDs. I remember the quote, Kabul. This guy literally said, Kabul will not fall, the Afghan government, all this stuff. And he goes, you know our methods to protecting our sources.
Well, I think this sounds like a real journalist for one.
No. Yeah. It's good for this guy standing up and asking these questions.
Just like, okay, just because you got up here and said this, let me see your evidence. He's like, well, I just said it.
It's like, that's not evidence. Yeah. That's you setting the stage for something to go on.
Let me see the evidence.
Right.
It's declassified. And this guy, and I feel bad. I feel bad for I hate Jen Psaki. But I feel bad for her too. She's got to go up there and just every day good.
But good for the reporter to ask those questions. We're about to go to war with Russia over Ukraine. And it sounds like they're setting the scene for them to be able to attack Russia, say that Russia was filming it. Yeah. You know, this could go a bunch of different ways.
Real reporter right there.
This could go a bunch of different ways. I mean, they could be setting something up, right? What he said easily could be the United States is going to attack Russia or provoke Russia with some sort of force. It's going to be filmed. You guys are going to see it, and we're just telling you right now that that's Russia. That's Russia being fake. So, that is crazy.
And they don't have the evidence to back it up. They're just saying we got this information.
This video goes on to the point where this guy ends up calling the reporter a propagandist.
Oh, wow.
At the end of the video, I don't want to scrub through it because I didn't have it marked out, but he goes on to be like, listen, if you don't want to follow what the U.S. government is saying and you want to push the misinformation that Russia is pushing, go ahead if you want to be unloyal to your country.
Dude.
He says that.
This is what happens when you don't get softballs thrown at you for questions.
Dude.
That's kind of shitty.
Good for this guy. Is he the only person in all of media? His name is Mark or something. Mike, I don't know, but he's,
a real reporter.
He's a real reporter, and
he's not asking what Joe Biden's favorite flavor of ice cream is.
Oh my gosh. And 90% of the other reporters went on and wrote articles about what this guy said. This guy was the only reporter in the room to be like, hey, before we go to, you're making some pretty bold claims here.
Yeah.
What is the evidence to make those bold claims? Well, I said it. Okay, you said it. Where's the documents? And you guys got some.
You're saying it's declassified. Show me.
What did you get? Emails? Did you get in between some emails between Russian people? What's going on here? Well, how do you guys know that that's what's going to happen?
Here we go.
If I had a tinfoil hat,
you do.
I would say Vietnam was started on false information regarding the state of France's position and reasoning. Freedom of Information Act shows that JFK's State Department proposed multiple black flag operations to get into Cuba. 9/11 was well known to be in the works from both the CIA and the FBI. WMDs were pushed on a bipartisan basis for months, starting a 20-year, multi-trillion-dollar war that barely got us any results. Benghazi was said to have happened because of a racist YouTube video. Kabul was not going to fall, and the U.S.-backed Afghan government would stay strong. And in Chicago, 2021, 797 homicides and 361 shooting incidences. We're so concerned with going to war. We don't care about our people. We don't care about our homeland. We don't care about the state of our country, but we need to go to war. We have to go to war.
I think if a war ever came to the shores of America, we would definitely think differently about war.
Right.
We don't live with the cost of it.
We've never lived with the cost of it. We don't care if we go fuck up Ukraine.
No.
We don't care if Ukraine burns down because we go to a hot war.
We can still go to Starbucks.
Who cares? We can still go to Starbucks. Nice segue, by the way.
Thank you.
That'll come next. But how crazy is this? This is the world that we live in.
Can't believe anything.
No, I don't believe
you can't
any
believe
of it.
Anything. Even if it's the truth, you're like, is it though?
Exactly. I don't know what's going on right now and we're positioning ourselves to go to war. And it's like, okay, now they've set the stage. So now I'm at a point where, I mean, just because of that reporter's simple questioning and his absolutely insane response, if something was to happen that follows that guy's narrative, where let's say Russia was, quote, attacked and it was videotaped and we saw, people in despair, I don't know if I would believe it now. Now I don't know, is it Russian video? Is it the U.S. trying to go to war? What's going on here? Like, crazy stuff's happening, man.
We're all going to die eventually.
We're all going to die. We'll be fine, but I don't know. I just feel like I don't know what to believe. I don't know.
Nobody knows
scary
what to
time.
believe.
It's a really scary time.
I mean, if you think critically about things, like, okay, this guy, me trying to think critically, he very well may be telling the truth, but I got to back my mind like, okay, is he though? And all that reporter was just like, just show me the evidence.
Right, and he has none.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have any.
But he kept on saying, well, it's declassified. Okay, if it's declassified, show me the evidence.
Exactly. Where is it then? Oh, well, it's just you saying something. He said, if you want the evidence, we'll get the transcript from this conversation. It's like, that does not prove that Russia is in the works for building a crisis actor situation. He said, that's some Alex Jones shit.
Yeah.
It kind of is.
Alex Jones is right 80% of the time, though? I know. I mean, Alex Jones is a weird dude. But anyways, we don't have to go with Alex Jones.
We don't have to go to Alex Jones. I don't know, man. That's a whole situation. I just, that interaction really scares the shit out of me. Something like that.
And I also don't think it's, not that I'm in the know here, but even Ukraine's like, hey, y'all just tamp this thing down a little bit. You guys are taking this way overboard.
We said that last week.
You're trying to go to war. Like, hey, we're cool.
They're like, no, please don't destroy our whole entire country because you two superpowers feel like bolstering your economies.
That's what the United States and Soviet Union, Russia do now. We fight proxy wars with each other.
But this could potentially be a war.
Like Syria.
Yeah.
Our jets were going one way. The Russian jets are going the other way to bomb. And they're like, hey, how you doing?
And a lot of that was based on misinformation from the U.S. government, right? They said that the leader of Syria or whatever was using chemical weapons on their people. They have no evidence of that, right?
None.
Here we are again.
They showed the pictures of the crisis actors, like in between takes. Seriously, you ever seen those?
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
Like them just like hanging out, like, okay, take two.
Do you remember those quote crisis actor videos of COVID a couple months ago? I tried to bring them up, but the YouTube page got taken down. And it was like people in like black bags, like laying on the street, like all the quote dead people from COVID. And then like in between takes, they were like taking the bags off and like smoking a cigarette and stuff.
My favorite's the dude from the high school shooting who got kind of famous. The kid.
What kid?
Oh, God.
The shooter?
No. He's like a crisis actor. They've got him at like 3 different things.
Oh, really? And that's the stuff that Alex Jones talks about, and he got in trouble.
That's the truth, though.
Well, he just got sued and lost about the Sandy Hook thing because he said Sandy Hook was all about crisis actors.
He took that over too little far on that one. But.
Okay, but if it is crisis actors, then what he's saying is true. So it can't be one or the other. It can't be like, well, he took it over the top a little bit. Like if Alex Jones is saying Sandy Hook is based on crisis actors and it didn't happen, and this guy was, quote, there.
Well, Sandy Hook obviously wasn't. There weren't crises. Those little kids died.
Right.
There. Okay. Now, the Florida one, the kid's last name's Hogg. I remember that.
Okay.
You haven't seen this dude?
No.
Oh, he's like, they have him at like several like crisis things being interviewed. Really? So there's a joke going around, like, there I was, at the high school shooting, there I was at this,
Gotcha. That's fucked.
Actually, the funny thing is he created his own pillow to go against the My Pillow guy. He calls it Our Pillow.
I was just going to say, is he calling it Our Pillow?
Yes, it's that guy. Wow. I want to say Jesse Hogg, or his last name's Hogg.
I've never heard of that. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
Okay, next story, Kelly.
All right.
There's drama in the world of dwarfs.
There is. The
iconic actor Peter Dinklage, known for his roles in Elf and Game of Thrones is now stirring up controversy. I realize that my shirt doesn't show it, but I'm wearing a shirt that says I drink and I know things. It's my favorite line. Tyrion's probably the best.
Yeah, he's a great
best character in Game of Thrones, in my opinion. He is the Hound, Tyrion Lannister. Like, love them. But so Newsweek sums up the situation well in a recent article. During an appearance on Mark Maron's WTF podcast in January, Game of Thrones star Dinklage branded plans to make a new version of the child's favorite Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs as fucking backwards for its portrayal of the Seven Dwarfs. When the project was announced last summer, it was revealed that the lead of Snow White had gone to the West Side Story breakout star Rachel Zegler, who is of Colombian and Polish heritage. Peter on the podcast was quoted as saying, "Literally no offense to anyone, but I was a little taken back when they were very proud to cast a Latina actress as Snow White, but you're still telling the story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Take a step back and look at what you're doing here. It makes no sense to me. You're progressive in one way, but then you're still making that fucking backwards story about seven dwarves living in a cave together. What the fuck are you doing, man? Have I done nothing to advance the cause from my soapbox? I guess I'm not loud enough. I don't know which studio that is, but they were so proud of it. All love and respect to the actresses of the people who thought they were doing the right thing, but I'm just like, what are you doing?"
All right. First thing I'm going to take away from
Go
this.
ahead, please.
They cast a Latino girl
As Snow White.
Why?
Who cares?
No. I care.
It has to be a white girl?
Does it have to be? Okay, let's make Aladdin a white girl.
Okay, make her a white girl.
Let's make Mulan. That's not the character, though.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's not the character.
Yeah, I understand, but it's like, it could be anyone.
No, it's just signal virtuing.
Yeah, no, of course it's virtue signaling, but it doesn't have to be a white girl. Like, I mean, I get that the original Snow White movie was a white girl, but all the characters in the thing were white.
Let's make Mulan, instead of an Asian, let's make it a white girl.
They could, but they're not going to.
It's Mulan. She's China. You're supposed to be Chinese.
Yeah, that's very true. If you were to make
Aladdin,
let's put
a white dude as Aladdin,
Mulan a white girl, it would be terrible. People would lose their shit.
Oh, yeah.
If they made it a black girl, we'd be okay with it.
Well, yeah,
they would be okay with it.
You would be able to say anything about it, is what it is. Let's make Aladdin a white dude.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay.
So keep it.
I can understand.
Let's just keep it as it is.
I can understand.
All right. Uh-oh.
If I had a tinfoil hat, I would say that Mr. Dinklage has made a career off playing parts that were made exclusively for dwarfs.
It's amazing how that works out.
What is he doing here? Causing drama for no reason? Are his words out of context? Did he try to make it as one of the seven dwarves and couldn't? Maybe he's just too famous and would outshine the other six. Why would he?
You have no problem taking the soapbox.
Exactly. I mean, he played his whole entire role in Game of Thrones is the drunk dwarf son of, the Lannister family. And so now he's made his millions of dollars. He's a household name. Everybody knows who this guy is. Got a very distinct face. He was also in a movie with Kevin Hart, I think, and it was really good.
Oh, yeah, he was the mob boss.
And he was really good. And that was actually one of the only roles I've ever seen of him where they didn't he's short, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? They just played it off like he just was like a short guy, and they just went and didn't make any mention of it. All of his other roles are him being dwarves. And Elf, you've seen Elf, right?
Oh, who hasn't seen Elf?
Say Elf one more time, right? And that's Will Ferrell's whole thing. He's making fun of him. He's like, oh, he's an angry little elf, And now he's made his fame and stardom.
He has his money. He can say what he wants now.
Yeah.
Don't get it.
I don't get it.
Anyways.
Whatever.
Just people are horrible.
He's like, why does he need to do that? What do you think his angle is here?
He didn't get picked as...
Do you think that's it?
Doc.
I kind of think...
Grumpy.
Grumpy.
They should offer him Grumpy.
They should.
That's funny. Hey, that's funny. Let's make a TikTok about them offering Peter Dinklage Grumpy on Seven Dwarfs.
Okay, let's do it.
I don't understand dwarfs. Is that... I mean, that you could... I think they prefer the term little person.
So the it's Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, and actually writing that little segment, I didn't know what to choose. Little people, midgets apparently is the one. You can't say midget.
Midget's the N word for little people.
Why can't you say midget?
I think
dwarf is more like,
in my opinion.
Yeah,
IMO. Dwarf is worse than midget, but I think they'll go by dwarfs.
So dwarf is more of like when I hear the word dwarf, I've got more of like a fairy tale connotation, like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. But when I hear midget, I think
just a little person.
Little person. But when you think about it, like you can't say the word retarded, right? But
that's an actual.
It's like a sign. It's a more like precise word. If your brain is retarded, that means your brain is moving slower, right? In music, something that's retardo is like a slower tempo.
So we got to change that term, right? Because we can't use retarded, so now we have to use whatever.
And special needs.
10 years from now, that word's going to be
right.
You can't say that.
It's like we have dwarf stars.
We do.
Yeah, dwarf stars. Yeah,
dwarfs.
A star that's smaller.
Like
Peter Dinklage is a dwarf star.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't buy into all this crap. I'm Gen X. We don't fucking care.
I'm millennial, and I also don't care. So don't think you're special because you don't care.
Gen X doesn't care. There's a whole thing about it on TikTok about why boomers and millennials go at it so much because neither of them want to fuck with Gen X because they don't care, and we don't.
Gotcha.
We don't care.
Kelly?
Yes.
Oh, man. I got to pull this thing up. Let's see. I'm going to move to my next.
Smash. Oh.
Smash. You're so
Starbucks. We are forced.
So, Starbucks, every white girl's favorite pit stop. I put this up on the screen. This is a tweet from this guy, Dan Price. And it says, Starbucks, we are forced to raise prices due to inflation and supply chain issues. Also, Starbucks, our profit just went over 31%, and we gave our CEO a 39% raise to $20.4 million. Companies are doing a great job rebranding corporate greed as inflation.
Oh, yeah.
So that's something that's going on right now. Breaking Points did a great, this is where I learned about this. Breaking Points did a great segment on this about all these companies that are getting record profits right now. And then they're going, oh, sorry, we have to raise our prices with inflation. So Starbucks, in a shareholders meeting, said we went, because they did this again. This is the third time they've raised their prices or are going to raise their prices. They said in the most recent shareholders meeting, the person working for Starbucks, said, we threw out the idea of labeling our price ranges on inflation, and it didn't change our customer, input, right? Mm-hmm. Like our money kept flowing. In fact, we got record profits because we raised our prices. So we're doing it again. And then they went on Twitter and then they were like, hey, we're going to have to raise prices because inflation.
I think Starbucks is one of those companies that virtue signal like, oh, yeah. At heart, they are capitalists. At heart.
Yeah.
They will stick it to you.
Yes.
And you'll smile thinking you're doing the right thing.
Right.
That is so true.
Additionally, the unionization of Starbucks has spread from one. So a couple weeks ago, I mentioned that the Buffalo store in New York.
I'm against unionization, but I'm all for it for Starbucks. Screw them.
So it in over 1 month from the first store to unionize in Buffalo, New York, 54 stores have collected to unionize their stores in over 19 states in over 1 month since the Buffalo store.
How much are these baristas getting paid? They're making coffee.
I don't know. They're making coffee, but you know what? They're working a lot of hours. They get paid good money, right?
Okay.
I mean, they're probably getting paid over minimum wage. They're probably here in Texas. They're probably still getting $15 an hour, right? They have like a company minimum wage. So I would think that their benefits are already decent.
Okay, I don't want to bust on Starbucks.
Yeah,
I don't really go to Starbucks. I buy Starbucks coffee at Costco.
Right. Your daughters love it.
Yeah, my white daughters.
As white girls.
Love Starbucks.
They do.
But I think they do right by their employees, I think.
Right. Yeah.
They pay them well.
That's
I think
what I
there's
thought.
good. I imagine. From what I hear, I'm not sure, but they there's good benefits for them.
They'll pay for your college at a certain point. And we knew somebody who worked at Starbucks for a year plus, and they never had anything bad to say about the working conditions, or you know what I mean.
Who knows? But it's the virtue signaling for me.
If I had a tinfoil hat,
you do.
I would say that Starbucks' years of pushing a corporate stance of inclusion, collectivism, and progressivism is coming to bite them in the ass. Starbucks has created a culture that allows unionizing type people to gravitate to work there. Unfortunately, these unionizing type people did not realize that Starbucks' virtue signaling stopped at a trendy ad campaign. Corporate greed exists no matter where you go. Do not be fooled. Whether it's right or left, the people at the top will do and say anything to get more money.
Starbucks has to be a corporation, right? Publicly traded corporation.
Yeah, Starbucks
People
is a
don't realize the board has a responsibility to the shareholders.
And I hate that. I hate that quote. They have a responsibility to their shareholders to year over year get growth. This whole concept of year over year growth causes.
You have a 401k. Don't you want that?
I do, but it creates this environment of just absolute corporate greed. I mean, I get it. Your 401k going up is a good thing, but maybe it's the idea that the whole system needs to be kind of shuffled up and rethought of.
It works fine.
No, it does not.
System. It's the best system in the world.
These companies, over the last 2 years in the whole COVID pandemic, got their stimulus. They got their bailout money, and their bailout money was for keeping their employees on staff, right, on payroll, so their companies
had a problem during the COVID.
I'm not saying Starbucks. I'm just saying these corporate companies that have a quote responsibility to their shareholders. The airline industry is a great example. They got bailed out to keep their employees, and then they fired their employees, used all that money for CEO bonuses and stock buybacks. They didn't add planes. They didn't refurbish their planes. They didn't train new pilots. They spent all that money that the U.S. government gave them and bought more of their own stocks to inflate their price so that their shareholders showed a bigger profit.
Which airline, so I can go buy that stock?
Yeah, you're so fucked, dude. I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm like, it's terrible.
Do you just want your 401k to stay the same every year?
No, and I agree, and I understand what you're saying, and I completely see that because I'm in this point where I'm trying to generate wealth for myself and my family, and I put money into my own 401k. Yeah. But then in the back of my mind, that's how my 401k is going up. It's kind of fucked.
I don't think about it like that.
Yeah.
I think about it. I'm trusting you with my money to do the right thing by me.
Yeah.
So, I don't think it's cool that, they just put a 31% increase on all their stuff, then gave the CEO a 30. So let's look at it this way. So their profits went up 31%. Okay.
That's a lot. It's in the billions.
That's a huge number.
Multi-billions.
Okay. The CEO got a 39% raise. So he's at 20. So a third of that would have been 6.5. He got a $6.5 million raise.
Okay.
What is that? That's nothing
compared to their profits.
Yeah. So all this guy is right doing, and I don't want to say I'm disagreeing with this guy.
I want to hear how you think about it because you think about it in a different way.
But he's pointing out 31%, right? And then you're giving a 39% raise. Okay, this 31% numbers in the billions.
Right. So really, he's billions. Getting 0.01% of
$6 million. What's $6 million?
Okay.
In the big scheme of the pie.
Sure.
Nothing.
Sure. I can see that. No, I can see that. I just think that it's crazy. And I don't care about that because guess what? If you were at the top, you want that.
You know what?
Anyone at the top is not going to say no to that.
Wait till you see how much Roger Goodell makes.
The head of the NFL?
Oh, he makes like 1% of the profit of the entire NFL. So his salary
from every league, from every team.
I'm not sure, but I believe his salary $0. He's paid on the profitability of the NFL.
Sure.
He's making $100 million a year.
Jeez.
He gets like 1% of the profit.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And how much does the NFL generate?
Billions.
Just not even the
billions of dollars.
Tens of billions.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. My biggest shtick with this is the outright lying. If you want to raise the prices, say raise the prices. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you know what? They could have done this.
They never lower the prices.
Well, yeah. We talk about that a lot. Starbucks could have, in my opinion, they could have said. So if you're saying that $6 million is nothing, right?
In the big scheme of things, it's nothing.
Starbucks knows that all this unionization is going on, right? They could have said, instead of, hey, we're raising prices because of inflation, they could have very easily said, because they already said that. They said, we're going to raise our prices because of inflation, and the profits didn't change. It only went up. No one stopped going to Starbucks. People kept going to Starbucks. They could have easily made a statement saying, we're going to raise our prices so that our workers have a better...
They could have said that.
They could have said that. You know what I mean? That's what gets me is this whole, like, we have to raise our prices because of inflation. We also brought in record profits this last quarter. I don't know. It's just lying. It's just lying.
It's just, we don't know it all. But
yeah, we don't know. I mean, obviously I'm an idiot here. I completely
You brought
agree.
up the point about capitalism, like, how you're okay with capitalism, right. But there's things that you don't like.
Yeah.
What other system is there? Socialism?
No, I agree.
Communism?
No, I agree that it's fucked. But it's like Raytheon, gets on a shareholder meeting last week and says to their shareholders, they say, "Hey, all this tension in Ukraine is really good. We're really excited to see what happens."
Bullshit, yeah.
That literally happened. And that same Breaking Points where I learned about this, they go into that as well. And they say the CEO of Raytheon got on a shareholder meeting and was like, "Hey guys, all the tension in Ukraine right now, it's getting pretty crazy, but that's really good because the defense spending is really going to kick up here in a couple months."
Oh, yeah. Presidents are also known to go to war when bad things are happening in their administration.
We said that last week. I said that last week. No, I mean, I like capitalism. I agree with you. What are we going to do? What are you going to go to socialism? No. That's not going to work. Nope. People are going to stop working. People are going to stop caring.
I would.
The second we go to...
I'm going to get paid the same regardless? All right.
Okay. Well, that's more like communism, right? Like, okay, sure. Do you think the people in China think about that?
I don't think they know about it.
Really?
I don't know.
No, they have to.
What, you think they teach capitalism to the Chinese?
No, but they about communism, how they think about, like, because
I think
we say that all the time. We say if communism was to come and the rocket scientist and the janitor get paid the same, then it wouldn't make sense. But you still have rocket scientists and janitors in China.
See, China is kind of a quagmire. Is that the word?
Yeah, quasi.
Because they're a little bit different.
Yeah.
They're not just straight communism.
Right.
There's Chinese billionaires.
Right.
Take a...
Yeah, that guy. I know who you're talking about.
No. The basketball player from Houston.
Oh, I don't know.
What's his name? Like, he paid hundreds of millions of dollars. He's paid to play basketball. Anyways, but he has to give so much of it to the Chinese government.
Really?
He's like, okay, I'm cool with it.
Yao Ming?
Okay. Yeah, like he lives in China now, but he's like allowed to go just do whatever.
Yeah, and like in China, you can make a company and make $1 billion, but
you just got to give your.
It's owned by the government.
You got to give your share of the pie back to them.
When the government comes and says, "Give me what you have," you give them what you have.
And I don't think they come in. And I don't trust me.
They do.
They don't come and take everything.
No. But like, let's say that you've got the Chinese Amazon and you've got terabytes and petabytes of data on people.
Oh,
when the Chinese government says, "Give me it," they go, "Okay, here you go."
And you
Thanks for letting me live in China.
You give that to them, and they allow you to continue being a billionaire.
It's funny is we're talking shit about that, but the U.S. government just takes it. They don't even tell you. Yeah. They just say thanks. So,
I'm not saying China's great by any means, but
yeah.
I think the Chinese people, I'm sure they have to know about capitalism.
No, of course,
because they go internationally. And
they know about it. Yeah,
they all 800,000 of them are in school in America right now. So
Who's
they
that
have
lady
to know.
in Frisco that we talked about?
Yeah,
she's going hard on the Chinese students.
Yeah, that lady. I can't remember her name. She's hot.
Shelby.
Shelley Luther.
Watch out, Shelley Luther.
Smash.
Nice.
My new thing, Smash.
Three things we got one line for each of them. Right. Kelly, Whoopi Goldberg being canceled.
Yay!
The right doesn't care.
No,
the right doesn't support it. Every single person I've watched this week talk about the Whoopi Goldberg thing has been like, "Ha ha, fuck you." But then goes and they say
livid about it.
They say I don't care about. They say I don't think she should be canceled. First off, the 2 weeks. If that was any other person,
she's probably still getting paid too.
Yeah, because she just signed a 4-year contract with The View. That's why she's not getting fired. That's why she's taking a 2-week timeout, because like a month ago, she signed a 4-year contract with The View.
Those ladies, who watches that? What are their ratings? Those are the 4 stupidest women in America.
It's ridiculous. So
they're not even smart.
So anyone that doesn't know, which if you don't know, you're crazy, but anyone that doesn't know about the Whoopi Goldberg thing, Whoopi on The View last week said something to the effect that, you haven't on
We'll be covering that.
Okay. Tim Dillon, real quick, Tim Dillon had an amazing little joke about that. He's like, it's The View. At 11:30 in the morning, I really don't want to be hearing about the Holocaust. Like, I want to be hearing about like cupcake trends, you know what I mean? Like the best way to wear a scarf now. Like those I don't need a history lesson on the fucking Holocaust.
I mean, we obviously disagree fundamentally with them, but they're not even smart people.
No. And they don't even think for themselves. They just read exactly what's told. Except for when they do think for themselves, you get this incident right here. Let's move on, because you said you're going to talk about it. Did you hear that the Army is now going to discharge unvaccinated?
Oh, really?
So
I think the Marines are okay with it still.
Next week, I believe the U.S. Army is to start discharging all unvaccinated. Are we really going to war?
We're going to war.
Are we going to war? Like,
I think, they're keeping the Marines in.
Yeah, because, and I was going to write that down, like, why are we getting rid of this? And it's like, because the Marines are going to do all the heavy lifting.
They normally do.
So that's kind of funny, right?
Yes, I said it. The Marine Corps does the heavy lifting.
We're going to kick all the unvaccinated out. We're going to war with Russia, but let's kick all the unvaccinated out. The world we live in, man, is just so interesting. Last thing.
All right.
I have 4 words. CNN is falling apart.
Oh, dude, they are. And you know what?
Falling apart.
I really hope that who bought them, you said?
Discovery owns CNN. So
they bring in real news people.
And I think I think that's what they wanted to. So Jeff Zucker, is that his name?
Yeah.
Something Zucker. He just resigned. There's a lot more controversy behind not this consensual relationship he had with a woman who's essentially on the same par with him, but there's a lot more going on behind the scenes. And Chris Cuomo is the one trying to bring them down all at the same time. So this guy, Jeff Zucker he was the head of CNN, and he was the shield from Discovery CEO not canning.
Saving everybody.
Right. So he was the shield for Don Lemon, all the other people on CNN. Now Jeff Zucker is gone. I guarantee they're gonna clear house which would be great, because guess what? No one wants to listen to your bullshit. No one wants to listen to CNN. Make a real news channel that has objective news. You wonder why Joe Rogan takes your views, because Joe Rogan asks legitimate questions and listens to legitimate answers. You guys force feed the American people bullshit day after day, and no one wants to listen.
I would like to give a PSA.
Yeah.
If you want to listen to a good news thing, and I don't know if you're going to agree with me or not.
Okay.
Tucker Carlson.
Oh, yeah. Every night. We'll watch
yes, he's on Fox.
Watch him all the time.
But he's an independent.
Yep.
He's now, Hannity is the...
I don't really watch a whole thing.
Yeah, I don't really. And Hannity, if you're a far right dude, that's your guy.
Yeah.
But listen to Tucker. Tucker is honest.
Yep.
Sincere. He's very funny, actually.
Well backed. He
would not say shit if it wasn't true, or he would be able to back it up.
Right. Well, he was sued and had to come out as a quote entertainer for something. I forgot what it was.
So did Rachel Maddow.
Rachel Maddow is leaving MSNBC.
So they all say that. Well, Tucker was sued. Right. He's not. Yeah. Well, so was Rachel Maddow.
They don't say that. Yeah.
So was somebody at CNN. Right.
And if you're too afraid to get into Tucker,
Gutfeld's great.
His late night show,
it's killing it.
Is great. I watch it.
The #1 show, I think.
I watch it every single night.
#1 late night show, I think.
The last couple of months, I've been watching Tucker every day when I get into work. I watch like his monologue because they have it on YouTube, and then I watch Gutfeld.
That's the best thing.
Just to watch the monologue, just the intro.
So Tucker, when he starts a show, he does like a 10-minute monologue before he interviews. Just watch the monologue.
That's all I watch. I just watch Tucker's 15-minute monologue, and then I watch Gutfeld's, I think it's like his intro.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Gutfeld is great. He's bringing on all these people, a bunch of Fox contributors, a bunch of Fox hosts and stuff, but they're like fucking stoned, talking about doing drugs.
One of them's a pro wrestler.
Yeah, one of them's a pro wrestler. Like it is
a big dude.
It's a good show. Like I really
like
enjoy
Jesse
it.
Waters also.
Jesse Waters is really coming up because he used to just be Waters World, but now he's got his own.
Well, he started out. I remember he was just an on the street
for
reporter
O'Reilly, right?
For Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah,
He did a little segment where he was doing Waters World, making funny jokes and stuff.
He would go on there and be like, "What's the 15th Amendment?"
Yeah,
and then 90% of people don't know it. So he's great too. So. Yeah. Jesse Waters, Tucker, and Gutfeld.
Hannity, if that's your thing, you're going to get what you're going to get with him.
Laura Ingraham, yeah, it's okay.
She's kind of...
She sometimes has a good point. I like seeing those people as commentators for other shows, like when they come on Gutfeld or when they go on other... But I don't really watch
listen to Tucker.
Yeah. Anyway, so bye, CNN.
Hope not.
Why?
I mean...
You say you hope not
I hope
bye,
they
CNN?
don't go, are we off?
No, we're on.
Oh, I hope they don't go off. I hope they just come back rebranded a
little bit. Yeah,
exactly.
Like by
just
current.
Be normal. Just be the news.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you can't even watch ABC News, NBC News.
Yeah.
That's back then, like when not Peter Jennings. Well, even back Peter Jennings. Okay. Remember him? He died.
Before my time.
But like when I was like elementary school, middle school, even high school, he was the ABC News guy.
Yeah.
And he was like a Walter Cronkite.
I know Peter Jennings. Yeah. I just, too young for him.
And
but sure.
Like that was all the news really to watch, and you would watch them, and they would just tell you the news. They wouldn't give you commentary.
Right. I growing up, like when I got into like high school, adulthood, and everyone would tell me, watch everything, read everything if you want the real story. And then I got into adulthood, and which is just around the same time as like Donald Trump coming into office, when they all got mass hysteria and just lost their fucking minds. Yeah. And the problem is, I want to watch CNN. I try to watch MSNBC.
I can't watch it.
But it is literally the mouthpiece for the propaganda.
Oh, yeah.
It is just like, whatever the party line says, this is what we're all saying tonight. Yeah. And so it's hard to get like objective feedback, because I listen to what Tucker says and I form an opinion and I go and do research.
There's things that I don't agree with Tucker on.
Sure, but
it's all right.
There's no other channel so that I can bounce from Tucker to the next host and see, okay, well, this is what Tucker's saying about it. This is what this person's saying about it. Let me now go read an article, and I can take both those kind of jumping points and form my own idea. I have to go with just Tucker because listening to these fucking idiots on CNN is just crazy. So it's like, I would love to see CNN become robust and like,
I don't know how they've stayed on this long. I mean, they've been called out on so much bullshit over the last 5-10 years.
I know. It's just constant. Did you see that thing, Brian Stelter?
Yeah.
He was talking about Joe Rogan, the whole controversy with Joe Rogan, and he's like, we're CNN. We've got desks, and we've got a health department, and we talk all this stuff. It's like, you guys have been so wrong about everything. And Joe Rogan has just been objective.
Yeah, where's your death ticker?
Yeah.
In Biden's.
Yeah, where's the death ticker?
Yeah, where's the death ticker?
Yeah, totally. They had that fucking death ticker thing
when Trump
the whole
was
time.
President? Yeah.
Oh, it's all scary. It's all highlighted in red and
COVID's
stuff.
bullshit, by the way.
Yeah, COVID's bullshit.
Oh, wait. No, it's not.
But Joe Rogan has been wrong about COVID, and he admits it. You know what I mean? He forms a new opinion. CNN, just like, nope, we were right the whole time. Oh, we forgot about that. That never even happened.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that is... Thank you for watching another edition of Channel 69 News. Thanks, Kelly. See you next week.
Bye.